Hello, I'm Potato Cat and welcome to my channel. Today we are playing The Letter. Previously, we got stuck in the elevator and I rage quit a QTE. Yeah, it was not pretty. Not my shiny bright moment and misquoted a quote, but that's okay. I was kind of right. It's like saying that, you're kind of not dumb, but it's fine. We drove to the park, and then Ashton just pacing back and forth, like, oh my god, shit, shit, shit. And Isabella's like, bro, chill. It's fine. She's just gonna chase you for forever. And, that's pretty much where we left off. Alright, let's continue. This mic is so close to my face. Okay, if you ever hear a clink sound, it's because either my headphones are hitting the mic or my glasses are hitting the mic. One of those things. I try not to have that happen, but it's hard to not do that. What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth. The one that she could barely contain.
You're laughing.
Oh, yeah, Ashton, now you're the scaredy cat.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts from her.
I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there.
Yes, right. Sure. I'm not the one who's panicked. You almost ripped my arm off.
Sure.
Yeah, but...
Isabella, this isn't funny! We could have ended up dead.
Yeah, remember the time when all the time she said that, and then you're like, you're wrong. It's an impractical joke. It's a practical joke. Blah, 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 logic. And, yeah. Let her laugh at you, bruh.
I know, I'm really sorry. But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely, 100%, Ashton, and you deserve it.
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
I'm not scared.
Right, sure.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I'm not, alright? I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after, a moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies in her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit, and it has finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone, because she has been warning us of this since day one, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeves, almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right? Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's a desperation in there, a quiet plea.
Don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why, she still trusts that I can do something about this, baffles me. It all feels wholly undeserved, considering the way I've treated her. Yet, despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. ... October 30th, Sunday. Don't tell me we're already... I almost said Malfoy. Douchebag. Scumbag. Whiskey. Luke. Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo in the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving, an odd rhythm with the sharp piercing notes of her laughter. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There's only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Okay, I was like, that's too soon to just be like, okay, you're Luke now. But also wouldn't be the first time. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that have driven me from sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the last remains of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams from the open windows, when the memory sets in, and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly towards her prone form. She's hunched over her coffee table, with her arms under her head, while she continues to rest. Then, to the chaos of papers and folders we've left scattered. Yep, there are a bunch of papers on the floor. And underwear, apparently. Over it before sleep has claimed both of us. We bunkered down here last night after both our nerves have calmed down. Mine, for the most part. Staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us wants to remain alone. And there's that woman. Is she still one of the first race? One that we normally call a human? Can it still feel guilt? Doesn't understand pain?
Fuck. I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day.
Not that thinking about this still matters when all our lives are in her hands. She's dangerous. We don't do anything about her, and this curse will definitely be pushing Daisy soon. I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough. left all my friends in harm's way after the warnings they've all given me. Besides, beneath the terror and the adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella makes it hard not to take action. The paper sitting on the edge of the table calls my attention. At this, light against my hand, I reach for it. It has caught my eye the night before. With the lot we still need to go through, I've simply ignored it. The logo emblazoned at the top. The page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely for her.
A scholarship grant, huh?
University of Luxembourg, Office of Admission, Financial Aid. Dear Miss Isabella Gray Santos, this is really blurry. I'm the blah blah blah, can't read that. I assume it says, yay, money for you, come to your school. I'm sure if I tried really, really hard I could read it, but I'm not about to do that. I've only ever heard of her talk about this once or twice. Completing her degree, that is. She rarely goes about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact that she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. It has been 5 years after all. I've caught enough snippets of conversation between her and Zach to know she has never given up on it, despite how things have panned out. With her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as this may sound, coming from a friend, I'd like to give her the chance to have this. Whether this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring out what the deal with this curse is, I'll do so. If only to see that same smile on her from that time again. These days, the only moment she seems to show is when she's asleep. Like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. A smile of my own forms, despite this, when I glance at her sleeping form again. She hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in a slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You won't think she has any problems this way.
If only that were true.
Sighing, I whisked the paper back. I've gotten it carefully, so I won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off my makeshift bed. Isabella shifts, and I carry her from the floor and over to her bed, but doesn't wake. Simply tucks herself comfortably under the covers I pull over her. Briefly, though, she mumbles something to herself and draws in another deep breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
Why is that the thing that she says? She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep after, like it hasn't been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier, but the small smile on her lips remains. One I find myself returning in kind.
Who sleeps like a rock now?
It's better this way. Better to leave her to her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've had. She'll have time to worry about our problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her. A moment of respite. No matter how fleeting. She deserves that. She deserves it. After everything she's been put through. What I put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check on them. Cold Luxborn air meets me upon stepping out of the hallway. Not unusual in itself. This is what Luxborn's weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, damp for the most part, and more often than not, terribly dry, with an occasional sprinkling of rain every few hours. The sky's still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worse. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I do the same thing. Weather here's crazy, but I'm still here. I have to admit though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something's still normal in the world when I can no longer think the same for the situation we're in. A nightmare. That's probably all this is. Usually I'll say, I've been through worse. But that's simply another lie. I've often told myself, isn't it? And I've fed myself a great deal of lies through the years, just so I won't have to think about the next day. Maybe we won't even have this problem if I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
You call the Ghostbusters when there's a ghost in your neighborhood. Salt. That's about it. What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Zima has mentioned dreaming about a woman. Whether it's the same one we've been seeing, I've yet to ask. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. What can any of us do when all of us lacks any understanding of what's happening? How about your professor who knows all the spooky things? Also, why don't you just gather everybody up and be like, okay, team, I believe in the stories. Let's stick together and figure it out. Go get a Great Dane. Name it after another famous dog. Maybe get a puppy version of that. You know, just ride around in a van. Works for some people. One thing's clear about this, however, that thing is after us because of the letter. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. She will go after them as well. Yet, here I am, walking up Becca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head in a better order. How to phrase this when there's a 90% chance she is still pissed about a whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour Isabella and I arrived. You'll only alarm her by showing up in her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics. and her anger can last quite a while. These days, it seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella. But even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking. Once, twice, and 3 times, just to be sure she has heard me, even if she's asleep. She's usually awake by now, though.
Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed.
Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. Been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the worst, and in the next minute concern has been mixed with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on her door, louder this time. She'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than a dead body.
Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up. I know you're...
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy. So, if you could do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking polite!
Well, yeah, okay, but yelling doesn't fix yelling, mister. My hand pauses, short of landing on another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks in through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blankets. I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheets, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole, too. Course of action, so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the planet. Yeah, that's true. I find acting very nice tends to work. Usually tends to piss off people more, but meh. It usually works in my favor. Has done me wonders when I was a rookie, patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper.
Oh, did she say where she was going?
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks. But what am I, her keeper? You know some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down.
I feel like this person should be more British than they are.
Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git!
Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your...
What happened to being the nicest person on earth? You know, he could have been like, I'm so sorry that I woke you up. I was very worried about my friend. Did you tell you where she was going? If you don't mind me asking. I'm so sorry to inconvenience you. Don't be like, oh, well, you're an ass. Yeah. He slams the door shut without warning, but not before muttering a string of very colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear them inside the 4 walls of his apartment. He does know and doesn't care.
Jerk.
And at the end of it, I'll sigh. So, Rebecca is not here. I must have missed her by an hour or so. But at least she's not alone. She should be safe, in theory. More so, if the person she's meeting with is who I'm thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing, continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. to act rashly, to find out where she is and go straight there without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach, to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same for the big guy. I'm so sorry, Zach. A simple phone call to the booth of them, to the both of them should do the trick. It'll ease my nerves at any rate. It's better than rushing over to Zach's place or assuming Rebecca's whereabouts and finding out they're not there where I've guessed they should be. Assuming the worst will come next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason won't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. This is one, right? I'd say yes. I say it's an emergency. Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls judgment. Something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Any means to calm will do wonders. The muddled mess my mind is already in. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through the screen until it ends up on the group with only Zach and Rebecca and Isabel's number listed. Aw, close friends. Others. Professor Clark, Chief. I thought Professor Clark would be listed as a closer friend. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance on this. To some extent, it's true. I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with throughout the years. Colleagues, blockmates from uni, neighbors, those sort of people. Okay, question. He speaks very European for being an American. Like, usually, despite being at university or college, people usually just call college, even if it's a university. And usually, I don't know, I don't hear the phrase blockmates too often here in the US. Unless it's like, nope, we just call them neighbors. I was gonna say people from the block, but those are just neighbors. Whatever. It's fine. I suppose his language would be mixed in with both, given that he's lived around the place. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason, without wanting or asking for anything. Unlike the others, none has Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabel's eyes. One day, these guys are just there. The next thing I know, being with them eases it. That heavy, somber feeling lingering in the air when you stand alone in your apartment, or something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. No? And again, I'm not exactly a people person. I'll say it's loneliness. This carries much more depth than that. If I can help it, I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. A phone call may be the last comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with him right now. I'll take what I can get. Becca first. Okay, we will see if our friends answer the phone in the next episode. I'm Data Cat. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.